welcome, if you wish, to address what was raised at the Planning Commission meeting and add a caveat that the preservation of woodland should be addressed within the LM community for each parcel when submitted for grading plans.
I'll move for preliminary and final approval with the addition of the
Caveat.
Planning Commission recommendation as a caveat that preservation of trees be addressed in the LM.
Thank you. Exactly.
Second. Any questions?
Let's make it subject to satisfaction of June 14, 2019.
Thank you. Yes, subject to satisfaction of the requirements of June 14th review letter. Is that acceptable with that?
That's fine. As long as that's fine.
Any questions? A vote? Aye.
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 Excellent. Thank you. You show a budget office, you say that decision reflect
I move to allow,
solicitor's
starting
office.
to get to me.
Solicitor's office, solicitor's
The authorized solicitor's office to issue a letter to
Thank you.
Thank you. Second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, continuing on with the engineer's report. Chip sealing of 3.5 miles of Township roadway is scheduled for the week of July 15th. Those roads have been posted by the contractor in recent days to prepare our residents for this work. In recent days, we prepared and submitted an Arley grant application to PennDOT on behalf of Lower Frederick Township. That application requests $81,600 for design and construction of 750 linear feet of guide rail on Greevy Road. The application included a letter of support from State Representative Marcy Topol and the Police Department report regarding safety conditions in this location. In recent days, Mr. Frederick sent me a reminder that the multimodal grant program is open for applications until the end of July. This is actually the last round of multimodal that doesn't require a match. After this year, it's going to be a 30% match. There are some township residents that requested streetlights be considered in the Cedar Hill area. Installation of streetlights is an eligible project under that multimodal grants program. If so directed, we can assemble an application for the multimodal program for installation of streetlights in the Cedar Hill neighborhood. As it said, that would be assembled quickly because it's due at the end of this month. If the board were so interested, we'd be happy to address that.
Can I ask if there are other areas of the township that would also benefit from these lighting?
I'd be happy to take input on that. I've raised the Cedar Hill because it's been brought to these meetings. You had a resident bring that forward at this table.
Now, is it going to go along the street where the sidewalk is going to go?
I don't know where it's going to go yet. I don't even have a design. I just know that streetlights were an issue. And if you want me to proceed forward with that, I will bring the overall plan of Cedar Hill, probably with some of the people that have talked to us about it, or Mr. Leinicke, who's been involved in that discussion a little bit too, to figure out where this goes. The minimum grant amount for these multimodals is $100,000. So we're talking about a number of streetlights that can be installed.
Yeah, I just want to ensure if there are other key places in the community that would also benefit from streetlights, we consider that as long as there is grant money available. And did anybody here in the Spring Mountain Townhouse community, are there areas there that would benefit from streetlights?
They actually have existing streetlights at these portions of it. I can't speak for the individual homes that are on Village Drive, but we have a resident that's going to answer that question right now.
I will.
That would
I
absolutely.
suspect that they picked an LED that, you know, they got maximum intensity for the power consumption, but that isn't necessarily the best.
Probably not LED with the age of that development is my suspicion, but
They
when
didn't
it,
do it in the last 6 months, or within the last 9 months.
when it goes to final design, it would absolutely be looked at where the light is cast. That would be after the grant is awarded. This would be a preliminary, this is about where we want the lights, this is how many fixtures we want, this is what it would cost to do it for the application. When it goes to design, that's when you look at the cutoffs and how to make sure it doesn't impact somebody the way you're being impacted today. You're absolutely correct. That would happen when it actually goes to design. That probably would be part of this very preliminary layout for the grant application.
When would the work actually be done? Or when would a consideration of what type of place be?
After the township got notice that they got awarded this grant.
So would this happen in October, would it happen in December?
We'd probably hear in the late summer, beginning of fall, whether or not we got that grant.
Is there a timeline based on when it would have to be done?
I don't know them right now, but I'm not that deep into this application because I'm just coming to the board saying we want to pursue this. So I apologize, I don't have that level of detail.
I might withdraw my complaint if the new lights keep the deer from eating my hostas this
Warren.
And on that topic,
Sorry, can you say your name?
Warren Jacobs, Full Road, that subject of specifications for lighting there's a lot of information on that in our most current code. We addressed that fairly recently. And it's a really good point, and I think it should be brought up whenever there is construction. I'm not sure whether that's enforced or not, but it's something that we should be paying attention to. We have it written into our code.
Yeah. I would like to make a motion that we move forward with the grant application. I think it's 100%, so it's 100% non-matching. Is that correct?
Non-matching.
And next year we'll start at 30% of the matching.
Correct.
Well, and with the fact that the deadline is the end of this month, I think it's good of us to try. So I would like to make that motion.
We have a second. I feel as if, why let that grant go by if we can get it, try and get it? It's a chance to, don't pass something up like that.
Yeah, I'm willing to second it, but I understand that the Seattle community has a lot of needs. They need a sidewalk, they need a park, they need lights. I just want to ensure that other communities in this township also get fair attention. So I will second it, but I'd also like to ask that our engineer and our manager and others look for other communities that would also benefit so we can get a maximum advantage from this grant. Always submit it this year before the matching.
I would concur, but that's something for Mark's checklist once he comes on board.
Well, he will be coming on board after the application's already in, so as much as I appreciate the idea of getting some help, he won't be with us right away. So I'll talk with both Terry and the Roadmaster Manning about anywhere that they know of that there might be any concerns.
Ernie?
Yes, Ernie Schmidt, 209 Silverbrook Drive. The question with the grant, are these lights that would be installed by the township, or would they be lights that we could contract through PICO? Because we have a charge per lights for installation. We don't per se pay for the lumens of the light or the light itself, but we pay that on a monthly billing process based on the lumen or the size of the lamp.
Mr. Schmidt,
They're both the same.
did you just volunteer to help me assemble this
Yes, I
application?
will.
Thank you,
I think
sir.
there are important areas to look in the township for lighting. Marlon brought up a good point. I mean, there's not only Cedar Hill, but there's other areas. And you're saying the grant would be an amount of how much?
The grant has to be a minimum of $100,000.
Well, 100,000 is a lot of street lighting. PICO's going to pick up. The trouble is, the timing would be tough. Once you get your grants, then you'd have to do a contract with Pico. And with their workload and everything they have, it would probably be about a year before those lights would be installed and we'd be paying for lumen value. Would that be acceptable with grant?
We'll have to look at the terms of the grant and what the timing is on how fast you have to spend that money, so I'll look into that. And I'll be in touch with you in the coming days to seek your help on this.
Fine, I'll talk.
And I say,
Thank you.
park board members here, do we need any additional lighting in any of the parks?
There's ones out of the CBS, but Ernie's,
I'm going to talk about additional lights.
no, we said one that's out there.
Call for a vote? Aye. Aye.
All right, the last thing on my report is answering questions from the June meeting, because Mr. Jacobs raised concerns about trees that were planted by the Arcadia Station developer along the open space A frontage of Zieglerville Road. Value Engineering did investigate, and a letter was sent this past month to Metropolitan Development Group, it was sent on June 20th, advising that the trees need to be moved. The letter advised that the trees were installed with no notice to our inspector, that plans detail a drainage swale between the trees and sidewalk, which has not been installed, and there's insufficient space to construct the drainage swale with current tree location. Trees are required to be at least 5 feet from the ultimate right-of-way, and these 9 trees were installed less than 5 feet from the ultimate right-of-way. And as Mr. Jacobs pointed out, trees are required to be at least 15 feet from overhead utilities, and the installed trees were 7 to 12 feet from the overhead utilities. So the developer was advised by letter to relocate those trees. That concludes my engineering report. I thank you for your patience.
I just have one question. So what would the follow-up be? They received the letter, some go out there to ensure. I mean, how much time do they have to comply?
They have plenty of time to comply. I suggested in my letter that they would want to do it before the bridge table, and they should do it soon. But ultimately, they're going to have to comply before we close the job and before we accept the improvements for dedication. I can't necessarily force them to run out and do that this week.
Would it be wise to do them now, coming into July and August? It should be a fall.
Sure.
I know that, but it's bad to move them down in the heat. Warren?
I know it's a lot of trouble, but would it be possible to just mention something about it? They're trees that get to be big, the red oaks, red maples. 15 feet away from power lines is not really that much. The land that they're planted along is going to be township open space. We're going to be taking dedication to that land, and we're going to own those trees. Would it make sense to ask them, since they're moving them anyway, to go further than 15 feet?
They have some leeway to do that. It can be up to 15 feet from the ultimate right-of-way, which would increase the distance from the overhead lines and still comply with ordinance. And if I can get them to communicate with me about it, Warren, I will. It's sometimes a little bit challenging. They went out and planted these without letting us know they were in there.
Any more questions? Carol? Public Works.
In the month of June, we started our road mowing program. We've been filling potholes when time allows. We started doing our prep work for all the chip seal roads, as Carol mentioned earlier. We had two sump pump inspections, and we completed the road repairs with Swanksville Borough from last year's water line upgrade on Church Road.
Any questions? Thank you. Police report.
It's out there to hear me.
You're up.
Sorry. Thank you.
During the month of June, there were 272 calls for service. 217 calls were responded to by Lower Frederick Township Police, and 55 incidents were covered by the state police in our absence. In addition to policing, we conducted criminal investigations into 2 separate allegations of child abuse, 1 death investigation, 6 thefts, 2 frauds, 8 domestic disturbances or fights, and we issued 63 traffic citations. I wanted to mention that Corporal David Milligan concluded a 7-month-long investigation which resulted in multiple felony charges being filed against Alexandria Lucas of Royersford, PA. Lucas has been charged with forgery, theft by deception, insurance fraud, and tampering with records or identification. Lucas was employed as a board-certified behavioral analyst for Exceptional Learning LLC of Schwanksville. Exceptional Learning provides behavioral education services to families with children that have developmental, educational, and behavioral challenges. And these services are supported by 3 different funding sources to include the Montgomery County Intermediate Unit, commercial insurance companies, and private payers. Basically, during the course of the investigation, it was determined that Lucas was failing to meet with families and their children, yet submitting billing records and forging signatures, trying to establish sessions that never occurred. Lucas benefited directly from the scheme, and she defrauded private insurance companies to the tune of about $35,000. Lucas surrendered to police on Friday, June 28th, and she was arraigned. We have a preliminary hearing scheduled for August the 8th, 2019. And I just wanted to take a moment to commend Corporal Milligan with all of his diligence and hard work in this case. The copious amounts of data that we've gone through, spreadsheets, back and forth with a forensic accountant with the district attorney's office. It was just hundreds of man-hours. And once again, we are really truly blessed to have an employee such as Dave Milligan that has these advanced skills, because this would have been really an overwhelming task without somebody with his experience. So I want to commend Dave for really what I think is a successful resolution of this case. And finally, Lower Frederick Township Police received confirmation from the State Crime Lab that DNA and fingerprint evidence that was collected from a stolen motor vehicle that was taken from Goshen Road on March 6, 2019 has positively identified a suspect. We're in the process of securing an arrest warrant for that individual who has a lengthy and extensive criminal history, who's currently incarcerated in the Montgomery County Correctional Facility on charges stemming from Pottstown Borough, where they're from. And this case serves as a reminder to the public not to leave valuables in your vehicle and to make sure cars are locked at nighttime, especially when they're parked in your driveway. So hopefully with any luck, we shall have formal charges brought this coming week against that individual. And as I said, they're already incarcerated, so they're not going any place. They're not going to be out plundering any more of our cars. But that was some good luck for us with the evidence that was collected. I also just wanted to take a minute and just show, we've had a lot of concern on our roadways, and I got to be honest with you, with the addition of our new officers, it's kind of given me an opportunity to reevaluate the situation. And I got to tell you that the speeding that is going on Spring Mount Road and Zieglerville Road in particular, because these are main cut-through roads for the township, it's excessive. And I mean, these guys are going out and they're writing 5, 10 citations a shift, no problem, and they're all outrageous speeds. Some of these people are residents of ours, I'm going to be honest. So the policy is now, because these are high enforcement areas, if you get stopped, you get cited. And this is just what we have to do. One of my officers came to me and he made a suggestion, and I looked into it, and these signs we're going to be erecting on Spring Mount Road and on Zieglerville Road. We purchased 4 of these. These were very inexpensive. Once again, it's just another reminder to drivers that you need to slow down, because if you're stopped, you're going to be ticketed. We're done with this. The education time is over. We had the speed trailer that was out there. Now it's citations. And that's just the only way we have to try to curb this, because I am concerned that somebody's going to get killed out here. Especially with these kids riding up and down the road. So you're going to be seeing these signs coming up. And if they're successful, if we think that they're doing well, they may be placed in other areas in the township, but right now we're doing heavy enforcement there, so it's appropriate, so just so the board can see. Tom Manning has graciously, I guess he's left, but graciously offered to have his guys install these for us, and they should hopefully go up tomorrow. So that's my report.
Question for Paul.
Our note-taker's not here, she's going to Elizabeth at James, if you can introduce yourself.
Warren Jacobs, Fulmer Road, is that what you wanted to hear? I couldn't hear what you said.
No, I just want to remind everybody, our note-taker's not here, she's going to listen to the tape, so you need to introduce yourself, even though if she was here, she'd recognize you, but she's not here. So
Okay.
thank you.
Have you noticed anything, change in the patterns since we've had the Sunnytown Road Bridge closure?
Well, our traffic volume has picked up substantially here.
Yeah, I noticed that really substantially on Salford Station Road, that seems to be one of the cut-through streets that people are using to change. I think that that might be a really good idea to try some enforcement because it's people on the way to work in a hurry, and there's so many blind spots there, so many places where people pulling out New Road, Fulmer Road, Colonial Drive with a very low sight distance, grade changes, curves, things like that.
And you know, Warren, those are great. That's a great suggestion, and I appreciate that. We will definitely do that. The biggest problem with both of these roadways that I mentioned right here is the topography. These roads, you don't have great sight line already pulling out of some of these roads. People are just flying up and down here, and my concern is, you know, I can give you an example. On last Friday, I was actually leaving at about 6 o'clock to go home, and I was down here at the intersection trying to make a right turn on the 29. And a guy, I don't know what had happened to this guy, bad day, whatever, he was impatient and he runs the light and then slides sideways and then goes down the road. And I turned around, and when I got him stopped, we were at the firehouse. And I was just like, what are you doing? I mean, there's just no explanation. And he knew. He had no explanation. But this is what we're seeing. We're seeing this kind of transformation of people that I think probably are not bad people, but they're just losing their patience. They're flying up and down this road. We have all these kids now riding up and down on their bikes. I at least see 2 a day with fishing poles. You know, they're going down here to fish in the creek, and somebody's going to get hit and killed. And these drivers, they need to understand that we're going to be out here, and my guys are here, you know, starting at 7 o'clock in the morning until midnight, and we're hammering these people out. We have to. There's just no other course. I'm a guy that's a little bit on the easier side with my enforcement tendencies, but we have now reached the point, and basically also with the prompting with some of my officers with their feedback, and then seeing what they're coming, walking in the door with these citations, and the speeds are excessive. I mean, we're not talking that somebody's going 10 miles over the speed limit. We're seeing 20, 25, 30 miles over the speed limit. These people, it's too fast for these roads. You just can't, you won't be able to control your car if somebody did pull out and stop. And that's why we're doing the signs now, because this is, once again, it's that warning to try to get somebody back into reality and say, listen, oh wow, I didn't even realize how fast I was going. The other thing is cell phones. These people are constantly on their cell phones. I watch them as I go to pull out of here at the end of the day. People just flying by, talking on their cell phones, or worse, texting, which is a violation of law. So, you know, these enforcements, and I'm telling my guys, I want the peripheral offenses too. So if you're stopping somebody and then they have issues, one of my officers today stopped somebody, they had no registration, no insurance, and a suspended license.